Have you ever wondered why a 10% price jump for your favorite coffee makes you immediately think about switching brands, but when gas prices go up 10%, you kind of just pay it? Well, that difference isn't an accident. It's a huge concept in economics, and today we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it all works.
So, let's start with a simple question. Imagine you walk into the store tomorrow and your usual loaf of bread costs twice as much. What do? Seriously, think about it. Do you just shrug and pay up? Do you buy half as much? Or do you start looking for something else to eat? This isn't just a random thought experiment. It's the exact question that keeps economists up at night.
To really dig into this, let's set up a scenario. Picture this: a massive wildfire tears through a huge wheat growing region. Just like that, a key ingredient for countless products is suddenly a lot harder to get. And you know what that means? It's straight up supply and demand. With less wheat to go around, it costs more to make bread. And you can bet that extra cost is going to show up on the price tag at your local grocery store.
Okay, so it's pretty obvious that if the price goes up, people will probably buy less bread. But less doesn't really tell us anything useful, does it? If you're a baker or a farmer or even the government, what you really need to know is how much less? Are we talking a tiny drop in sales or a massive one? The answer to that question comes down to one single powerful idea in economics. And here it is: elasticity. That's the word. It's the secret sauce economists use to get a real, concrete answer to that how much question. It's what lets us measure exactly how people are going to react. So what is it really? Well, in the simplest terms, elasticity is just a way to measure responsiveness. How sensitive are we to a change in price? Are we flexible, ready to change what we do on a dime? Or are we kind of stuck in our ways, no matter what the price tag says? And this whole idea of responsiveness really splits into two big categories: elastic and inelastic. Once you get the difference between these two, trust me, the whole concept just clicks into place. First, let's talk about elastic demand. The best way to think about this is to picture a brand new, super stretchy rubber band. Even a small pull, a small change in price, causes a really big stretch. For these kinds of products, our buying habits change a lot. And on the flip side, you've got inelastic demand. Now, picture an old, stiff, brittle rubber band. You can pull on it, you can jack up the price, but it barely stretches at all. For these products, our demand changes only a tiny bit, even with a big price swing. So let's just nail this down. Elastic means we have a big reaction. We notice the price change and we adjust our behavior in a big way. It's that feeling of, whoa, no way I'm paying that. I'll get something else. Inelastic means a small reaction. It's more of a, ugh, that's expensive, but I guess I still need it. Now, this isn't just a vibe or a feeling. It's something economists can actually calculate. They use this simple formula you see here. All they do is take the percentage change in how much we buy and divide it by the percentage change in the price. That's it. For instance, let's take ice cream. Say a 10% price increase makes people buy 20% less ice cream. Well, you just divide that 20% drop by the 10% price hike, and you get a price elasticity of 2. That number tells us something really important. The demand is twice as responsive as the price change. That, my friends, is highly elastic. So that brings us to the big question, right? Why are some goods, like that stretchy rubber band, and others are so stiff? Well, it usually boils down to 4 main factors. Let's walk through them. Okay, first up, and this one is arguably the most important. Are there other good options available? In other words, are there close substitutes? This makes it so clear. Think about Pepsi. If the price goes up, what do? You just buy Coke or any other soda. There are tons of substitutes, so demand is very elastic. But now think about eggs. If the price of eggs doubles, what are you going to use in your cookie recipe instead? There's really no good substitute, so demand is inelastic. We just have to pay up. All right, factor number 2. This one's all about the difference between things we absolutely need versus things that are just nice to have. And yeah, this one is pretty intuitive. If the price of sailboats suddenly goes through the roof, sales are going to tank because, let's be honest, it's a luxury. That's elastic demand. But if the price of water goes up, well, you're still going to buy it, right? You literally need it to live. It's a necessity, which makes its demand incredibly inelastic. Now, our third factor is a little more subtle, but it's super important. It's all about how broadly or how narrowly we define the product we're talking about. Let me break it down. The market for ice cream is very narrow and specific. If the price of ice cream goes up, you can easily buy frozen yogurt or a popsicle or gelato. Lots of substitutes, so it's elastic. But what about the market for food in general? That's about as broad as it gets. There are no substitutes for food itself, so the demand for it is extremely inelastic.
And that brings us to our fourth and final factor, time. Elasticity is hugely dependent on how much time we have to adjust to a price change.
This example with gasoline just nails it. If gas prices spike overnight, what can you do about it tomorrow? Not much. You still have to drive to work, right? In the short run, your demand is very inelastic. But give it a year or two. Now you've got time. People can start buying more fuel-efficient cars. Maybe they'll move closer to their job or start taking the bus. Over the long run, demand becomes way more elastic.
Okay, so we get what elastic and inelastic mean. We know the four factors that are driving them. But let's get to the bottom line. Why does any of this actually matter in the real world? Oh, it matters a ton. And once you see it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. Businesses know the stuff inside and out. If they have a product with inelastic demand, say a unique medicine, they know they can raise the price without losing many customers. Governments know it too. Why do they love taxing things like cigarettes and gas? Because demand is inelastic. They know people will keep buying, which makes it a reliable source of tax revenue. It's the hidden logic behind so many prices you see every single day. So the next time you see a price change, don't just see the number. Try to see what's happening behind the scenes. Ask yourself, is this a necessity or a luxury? Are there good substitutes? Am I stuck in the short run, or do I have long-run options? Understanding elasticity gives you a brand new lens to see the economic forces that are constantly shaping your choices. So what are you going to see differently?